Hello. Good morning. Is this one working? Yes. Oh, excellent. Hey, how's it going? What's going on this morning? How you doing? Oh, look, got a little sunshine. It's so nice and warm. It feels great. So good. Well, hello, good morning. Welcome to our yoga class this morning. Today is our yin yang style. Mondays and Fridays we hang out together and slow things down with an extra gentle style class. I know Mondays wasn't the most gentle I could have done for this style of class, but it was really good. I really liked it. So, yeah, let me just hit a light here. Let's see if I can get some more light on me. We'll see if it works. I don't know. Didn't change anything. Light on, light off, doesn't matter. Okay, that's all good. Well, good morning. Let me know how you're doing today. Let me know if there's anything specific you want to have happen in our class today. The style of today's class is we take a little bit of movement, a little bit of this and that. We might not even get up to standing today. Yeah, we might. We'll see. And then we stretch things out and we get into more of that restorative, more of those longer holds. But it's not really a true restorative. It's not like we hold anything for 5 or 10 minutes. It's just kind of a tease of a restorative. So I try to hold things for about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes if it's a real gooder. So that's usually what's happening here. I have a block mostly because I feel like I need to fidget. Usually I'm holding a coffee cup. I drank my coffee and I wasn't quite ready for tea yet. So that's what's happening with me floating. If you have a block, props are really quite wonderful. They will they just help you get into the poses either a little bit deeper or a little bit easier. So you can make something more gentle with a block, and you can actually make something more intense with a block or a bolster or a strap. It's really helpful, especially when we get into some of those longer holds, to just either bring the ground closer, or like if you can't quite reach for the ground, right, then you're just forced to hold and float. But if you can make that connection by bringing a block underneath, now you feel your hand pressing and you have that feedback from the ground. You can align your shoulders and you can kind of correct your posture. So here's my shout out to yoga blocks. You can find them really anywhere online. Winners is a great place for them. If you need to be hooked up with some, a yoga studio is selling them. So what they're trying to do to stay afloat while no one is buying memberships and stuff like that. So they've got straps, blocks, bolsters. I think you can get 2 blocks and a strap for $50. Even if that's the deal, or 1 block and a strap for $45. I don't remember what it is, but if you're interested, leave me a comment and I will hook you up with the details. All right, let's get ready to dive into some movement and start off. So if you're just noticing, I've got a video on, we're doing a little yoga. Journey on down. If you're not ready to be seated on the ground, use your block. You can sit on your block or grab a little stool or the edge of a chair. Will feel really good. Or if you'd rather be reclined, if you want to just lay on down, that is a great option as well. I find if I lay down as I'm hosting these, I don't get to engage as much with what's going on. So you're more than welcome to take any position you want, really any position that helps you start to connect in. You can start to notice the body, start to scan in with how you're feeling, would be helpful. Hang on, I just need to pull my clock up here. And then any pose where you can start to notice the breath. So I don't recommend being all hunched over and rounded, but sorry, I feel bad having my phone up, but there we go. Okay, there. So making it happen. Whatever position you found yourself in, let's roll those shoulders back and down. And take a little moment, connect in, take a nice big inhale breath, breathe it in. Exhale, let it go. Let's connect in, take a couple more of those, nice big inhale. And exhale. Trying to breathe in through the nose. Our noses are designed for breathing, taking on the breath. And exhale. exhaling it out nice and slowly, maybe even restricting that, really slowing that breath down, noticing that sense of calm that just floats throughout the body as you slow down that breath. If you'd like to set an intention for our time together, go ahead and do so now. What brings you to your mat? What is your purpose for this time? Have you thought of a purpose? Well, now's a little opportunity to think about how you want to spend it, or a goal you might have. If you want to work on strength, that might tweak how you hold the poses. If you want to work on flexibility, that'll also kind of work in differently. Maybe you want to find something like joy. You just want to be joyful through all of the movements. Whatever it is, let it be true to you. So let's seal it in with one more nice big inhale. Big exhale. Is that Donna joining in this morning? I love that you comment. Good morning. Happy Friday. All right, let's wake up through the body, little wiggle into fingers, into toes. Maybe you're just starting to take some of those nice gentle movements to wake it up. It doesn't have to be really any movement in particular, just whatever you'd like to do. To start feeling in to the body as you're starting to move around. How are you feeling? Do you have any areas of tension? Can you start to wiggle some of them out? Maybe use that exhale breath to soften through it. If you're laying down, let's roll on up to a nice seated position. I'll start seated today. We'll end up laying down. It'll be great. And you can sit cross-legged. You can have a leg extended, as long as you can be comfortable and as long as you can find length through the spine. So pressing into the sits bones and to get nice and tall. See if you can get a millimeter taller by really extending from the crown of the head. Imagine something just pulling gently the crown of the head up a little bit more. Feeling that spine stack nice. Take a nice big inhale breath. Notice if you find a little bit more length. Exhale, roll those shoulders back and down, nice and soft through the shoulders. And take a nice inhale breath. Let's lift the arms up, reaching up nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart. Taking just a couple of these nice little movements where the inhales lift the hands, the exhales bring the hands back down, connecting breath with the movement. Very yoga thing to do. It also has some benefits for the body. Beautiful. Being a little warm through the shoulders, maybe a little through the spine. We're going to keep going with these, taking lots of them. If you want to add in a little bit, you can start to look up and lift through the heart. Feel that little arch through the back. Exhale, take that little bow, almost like a seated cat-cow, really starting to move through the spine as well as through the arms. And if you want more still on top of that, you can start to be really intentional with the hands and with the arms, really reaching them out, being nice and strong through the arms as you lift up nice and tall, like that little bit of resistance. And pulling the hands down. Excellent. Get just a few more in here. Today I wanted to work on spine and arms. So this is really the perfect little warm-up for that. All right, let's take one more. Reach it up and hold. Reach those arms up nice and tall through the spine. Reach up. Maybe come to steeple, interlacing the hands. Point your fingers pointing upwards. Reaching so nice and tall. See if you can feel that engagement through the ribs and through the underarms. So maybe reach up and lift through there a little bit more. Excellent. Step over towards the left. A little exhale, nice and quick. Come on, back up. Reach up nice and tall. Keep holding those arms over the head. Keep extending through those ribs and tip over towards the right. Use that exhale breath to the ground in. Press into the legs, nice and strong. Let's come on, back up, reach it up, and nice and slowly, let's pull those hands down. Maybe you're pressing into the palms. Feeling all of that strength and control. So good. Hands come to heart center. Beautiful. Let's inhale, reach it up one more time. Nice and big, and exhale. Take that nice fold forward, bowing it down. Dropping the head. You can be rounded through the spine. Yesterday I did lots of flat back fold at the beginning. If you want that, you can create that little pull sensation, that rolling the shoulders back and down. That felt really good yesterday. It feels good on the low back. At least I don't know. What does your body need? Take what you need. I think it's fun to just not always do things the exact same. Excellent. Beautiful. Taking one more nice big inhale. Exhale. See if you can soften. Are you holding any tension anywhere? Let it go. Beautiful. Start to bring that left elbow towards the knee. Maybe planting it down. Bring that right hand and just sweep it up and open. So left elbow just plants down on the leg. Right arm reaches up. Maybe even reaches back. Just feel a nice openness through the collarbone. Maybe you keep rolling that right shoulder back. Maybe you even press left shoulder forward. Just a nice opening twist. It's not a stacked twist. Exhale. Start to close that arm in and come into the other side, resting the elbow on the leg. And let's reach it up. Reach and open. Rolling that shoulder back. Still sitting long through the crown of the head, making sure those shoulders are hunching up by the ears. Keep reaching. Feel that beautiful sensation through the left side of the body. Exhale. Bring that arm back down. You can plant both elbows on the knees. Roll the shoulders back and down. Extend long through the crown of the head. And press yourself all the way back up to seated. And let's switch the feet. So opposite foot in front or on top. Working with that non-dominant side. Playing around a little bit there. Excellent. 10. Let's take a few more of those big inhales where we sweep our arms up and draw things in. Moving through, just getting some fresh air. Imagine just grabbing onto the freshest of air and exhaling, bringing it into the body, getting ready for that nice big inhale breath. All that fresh air, breathing nice and deep. Exhale, getting it all out. One more, reach it up, nice and big. And hold, imagine we're holding on to a beach ball or the sun. So hands aren't coming together. If you want to make this easier, bring your hands together. That makes it a touch easier. Roll those shoulders back and down, extend so nice and tall. Maybe reach up a little bit more, trying to bring the arms in line with the ears. A little tuck of the chin. Excellent. Tip over towards the left and drop that bottom arm down. And coming into a little bit more restorative side bend. You can add the little pulse in. Keeping the sits bones rooted though. Let this just be a nice side bend stretch. Maybe reach that arm a little bit more. Connect in, take a nice big inhale, reach. Exhale, let it go. Press into that bottom hand, start to reach both hands all the way back up. Take a moment and lengthen. Take an exhale, engage through the core. Dip over towards the right and drop bottom arm down. You can add the little pulse in. Just starting to feel that openness through the rib cage. Maybe through the side line of the body. If you feel this I always feel this kind of by my hip into my spine. A little muscle that connects there. It's not a little muscle, it's actually a giant muscle. Excellent. Find that stillness. Use that bottom hand, press yourself back up. Reach it up nice and tall. Reach, reach, reach. Keep reaching and exhale. Fold things forward. Drop it down, drop the head. And take a nice fold. Let everything soften, hang heavy. Even the neck, maybe give the neck a little shake, to help release it. You can do that little push-pull sensation just with the hands. So you're not doing a huge movement, but the little pull helps you find some length. And that little push helps deepen, just stretches out the back and the arms. It's so nice. So good. Let's take one more nice big breath, big inhale. Nice full exhale. Start to come all the way back up. Sitting up nice and tall. Having hands rest on the knees. And let's just get a normal twist in. So reaching for opposite knee. Hand reaches out, spins all the way around, starting your twist with that motion. Hand can plant back behind you, coming in like a second spine right by that tailbone. Inhale, lengthen, get nice and tall, roll those shoulders down. And exhale, maybe start to deepen into your twist. Maybe just gently pressing into the hands, feeling that anchoring, feeling that all the way from the hips, spinning all the way around. Maybe you keep rolling that back shoulder back a little further. Maybe you press that front shoulder a little bit more forward. Maybe the gaze goes back behind you. Beautiful, nice rotation through the spine. Feels so good. Excellent. Let's exhale. Nice and slow, release. And come back to that center. Roll those shoulders back and down. Lengthen, just coming to neutral, but a strong neutral. Excellent. So reach for now the opposite side. I'm reaching for that opposite knee. And extends and spins all the way around. Maybe it plants behind you. Inhale, get nice and tall. Exhale, start to really twist. Enjoying. Maybe looking over that back shoulder. Maybe you inhale and lengthen. Maybe you press in, feeling that twist. Starting from the base, from the hips. Feeling it through the rib cage. Adjusting the shoulders, creating a push-pull from one side to the next. Excellent. Let's release. Come on back into center. So good. All right, let's make our way into an all fours position. So maybe you're rolling over. However you're getting there. Coming to that nice tabletop. Planting hands under the shoulders. Stacking the knees and hips together. Extending the crown of the head nice and tall. So finding all of that length through the spine. Big inhale. Nice full exhale. Pull that belly button in. Nice and strong. Beautiful. Take a nice big inhale. Start to drop the belly down. Looking up. I'll just take a few of these because I feel like we warmed up the spine pretty well. With all of that nice breath work. In that seated position. So inhales, look up. Exhales, round it through, let it feel good. Press into those hands if you want that a little more. And then come to neutral, nice flat back. So I'm wanting to play around a little bit with this pose here. Hang on, let me just back it up a bit. So we're going to come into our puppy pose. So feet can be tucked or untucked. It really doesn't matter, whatever helps you feel stable. And it's keeping the hips over the knees and just walking the hands forward. But we're not like hunching into this. So see if we can start to lengthen through the hands, almost like you'd come into your downward dog. So hands go really nice and far. And then exhale, push into them. Keep those hips over the knees. And drop the head down, aligning the ears with the arms. So there's two ways you can do this. You can do this nice and active by pressing into the hands. Maybe even get your head down, but take a moment and notice the spine here. So what's really common, I think I'm exaggerating it pretty well here, is I've got this huge scoop through the back. And this is very common, especially in women, as we have some extra weight in the front, pulling our spines down. So take a little moment, pull that belly button in. See if you can strengthen a little bit and get nice and wide through the shoulder blades. So almost like you're spinning the shoulder blades open. You might even need to bring your hands a little bit farther. So just working with this. This is a great shoulder stretch. Great prep for the arms. You can get your head all the way down easily. That's great. You want to add a little more challenge in it. Start to look up, almost bringing it into the chin. Down onto the mat, but it's all about just melting the heart down, feeling that little bit of a back bend, but still keeping that core, that belly button in. If you want this to be more restorative, you can come down onto forearms, dropping the arms down a little bit. Maybe that helps you get your head down, but still try to keep pulling that belly button in, at least for this version of it. You're more than welcome to do the big old back bend version of it, but I would like to get into some back bends and I don't want to tire out your back. So we'll just protect that low back by keeping that belly button engaged. Taking just a couple of moments Breathing it out here. Yes, at some point this will become a little bit of a challenge, a little bit uncomfortable. This is always a great alternative to downward dog too. I get chatty in downward dog if you're doing it in another class or whatever. You'll just drop your knees down and feel that great stretch through the arms, through the body. Just connect in, take a nice big inhale, and a nice big exhale. Beautiful. If you're down on your forearms, start to press back up into the hands. Nice and active here. And let's just pull the body forward. So pushing into the knees. And bring the shoulders in line with the hands. And lower down onto the front body. Beautiful. Let's bring the elbows under the shoulders. And coming into good old Sphinx pose. Probably one of my favorites. Simply because it's just such a nice, gentle back bend, and you can make it deeper if you want. But stacking the elbows under the shoulders just makes this such a neutral, easy thing. Notice, are you squeezing into the glutes? And can you press the pelvis in? Be nice and strong in that way, so feel that engagement of the front body, but can you relax into the glutes a little bit? And just feeling that dip through the spine into that nice low back. So good. I've got a hair in my mouth. I can't get it. No, we'll work on it. So here, if you want to start to add into it, notice where your shoulders are at. And do they hunch up by the ears? Can you extend the head long, keep finding that length through the spine? Fingers are nice and wide. Imagining you're in Egypt, hanging out in the sand. Beautiful little Sphinx pose. So good. Excellent. If that low back is really tight, if you're noticing some tension happening through there, try bringing the feet a little bit wider. So walking them out, that creates a little bit more room for the pelvis to root in and plant, and usually helps alleviate some of the tension through the low back there. So feel that softening. Can you start to let it go? So good. So because bringing the legs out oftentimes feels so good, one of my favorite things to do is add in that little half crocodile or half frog pose to it. And so all that is simply bringing the knee, wiggling it up closer towards the elbow, kind of creating that 90 degree and 90 degree, or really anywhere in between. But lots of times you'll roll onto that opposite hip, which if this is where you need to be for your body alignment, that's great. But ultimately the goal is to whatever knee you've brought up closer to the elbow. I mean, can you keep sinking that hip down? This is a huge hip opener. If you can create that little melting sensation. And if you need to let go of that back bend, walk the elbows a little bit farther away from the body. And that'll create a little softness. You can even reach for opposite elbows to make something to plant your head on. Nice little gentle pose. But it can get intense as we hold into it. If you're looking for more intensity, maybe you bring that knee up a little bit higher. And you might feel a little squeeze into the hip flexor. Keep trying to relax that hip down. And trying to keep that head and that neck nice and neutral. Working through. How does the silence feel for you? Is it uncomfortable? Is it awkward? Are you fighting it? Is your mind starting to race? And can you start to embrace it? Lots of times, silence is uncomfortable because we don't actually enjoy our own company. So I know I've talked about this a little bit before, so sorry if this is a repeat for you, but I just think that's so fascinating that our brain makes ourselves busy out of our lack of self-love. And so as you hold these poses a little longer, your body might force you or really want you to fidget, and sometimes the battle of the mind is, do you actually need to move? So just ask yourself, am I actually in pain? Is this becoming too intense? And if the answer to that is yes, then yes, by all means, add a little movement, But if that's not the case, can you just hang out in almost perfect stillness, where the only thing moving is the heartbeat and the breath? The breath is always a great anchor. The mind does start to wander. Maybe you just simply notice the nose, the throat, the lungs, the diaphragm. Or maybe you add a count, noticing the length of each inhale, the length of each exhale. For the last couple rounds of breath in this pose, if you want to add more depth to it, if you've settled in and you're feeling pretty good here, you can start to straighten that extended leg. Maybe even bringing it up a little bit higher. I'm feeling like going for the bind. So I'm actually going to flatten out and bringing my head down. And then I'm going to reach for my toes or for my leg. I can't quite reach my toes yet. That's okay. Taking 2 or 3 nice big inhales. Nice full exhales. Breathing in. And letting it go. Beautiful. Coming out nice and safe. Bring your bend back to that extended leg. And starting to bring both legs extended nice and long. And start to come on down. Rolling down nice and slow. Maybe stacking hand over hand. Placing your forehead down. Or if you like to look to your favorite side. That might feel a little better. And if you're feeling lots of tension in that low back from that back bend, you can bend the knees. Bring the feet up and windshield wiper. Oftentimes feels really nice, really good. And coming back into that stillness, enjoying that little bit of rebound. Feeling that return of blood flow and energy. Beautiful. Connecting in. Taking a nice round of breath here. Noticing some softness. And starting to prop those elbows back underneath the shoulders. And coming back up to that nice Sphinx pose. Playing around with the feet. Maybe this time you bring the toes to touch. Maybe notice if that makes things easier or harder. You hate that, you can always go back to the other one, just hanging out and back bend a little bit, roll those shoulders away from the ears. You can adjust the elbows however you need, whether you need them farther away from the body, a little bit more forward, maybe a little bit softer in the back, or propped right up underneath. Extend the head nice and long. Super good. Pat those hands down. I'm hating the feet together. Yeah, that is not what my body wants at all. So we'll bring it back wide again. Taking a little moment here, and then coming into that little half frog or crocodile on the opposite side. So give that knee a nice little wiggle up. Finding that position, trying to melt that hip, trying to keep it all nice and flat so that it's just a wonderful hip opener. If you are really rolling over towards one side, maybe you need a little prop or a little bolster underneath that hip, and that might be a thing. Maybe you need a little pillow under the knee. Sometimes the pressure of the knee resting on the floor or on the mat might be a little bit too much. There's lots of tendons that connect in and around the knee and go over the knee in all sorts of different ways. And so even on this side for me, I'm noticing that inner knee is so super tight. But this isn't painful. So I'm going to hang out and embrace the challenge because I feel like I'm getting just a wonderful stretch. Melting in. Keep rolling those shoulders back and down. Beautiful. Taking about 5 to 7 more rounds of breath here. Taking some time to settle in. And as we hang out for the last couple of rounds of breath, if you want to deepen or adjust the pose at all, go ahead. Maybe you want to extend that leg long. Maybe you want to bring that knee up a little bit more. If you need to lower the body down, coming out of the back bend, that's an option too. Taking a nice big inhale, nice full exhale, and letting it go. And nice and slowly, not rushing anything. You start to bring that leg back down. And start to lower the body down. If you haven't done so already, maybe looking to the opposite side or bring that forehead in. Feeling like you're melting in towards the mat. And you can bend the knees in a windshield wiper. And find your stillness at some point. And take 1 or 2 more rounds of breath. Excellent. Beautiful. Well, while we're down here, we might as well stretch out the shoulders, mostly because I think it feels so good. So let's start by, it really doesn't matter which side. You want to follow along to the cues. I'm going to start by bringing my right arm out, bringing my gaze over towards the left, and my left hand just kind of tucks in alongside the body, kind of near the shoulder, elbow comes in. And then we're going to start to add some more intensity. So pressing into that left hand, rolling onto that right hip, and starting to feel that stretch through the shoulder. So if even just coming up a few inches is really intense for you, bring your hand in closer towards the body. That'll add some softness. If you're not feeling anything as you start to roll up, bring your hand maybe a little bit higher. Or if you keep it even, you bring it into cactus, and that'll add intensity all through that shoulder and kind of getting in towards that pec. So you can keep rolling onto that right side. Feeling that beautiful stretch throughout the shoulder. You can control the depth you're getting into by how much you roll over. So maybe that top foot kind of anchors you in wherever. This is what I want. If I extend my arm, there we go, I can roll right over onto it. Connecting in. You can bring that top arm behind the back. You want the little bind, tucking it underneath the body. You can play around. You can have a little quad stretch in, bending that top arm. or that top leg. Maybe you reach for the ankle or the legging. Bring the foot in towards the sits bones. Maybe you add a little squeeze to the shoulder blades, opening up through the front body. Connecting in, finding your stillness, embracing the silence. Nice big inhale. Nice full exhale. Breathing in, letting go. And if you still have the foot for that quad stretch, try to let it go without slingshotting it. So with control, releasing the hand, releasing the foot. Bring that hand back alongside the body by the shoulder. And very slowly start to release. Coming back onto that front body. Nice little shoulder stretch. And bring the arms back in. Take a little moment to relax, release. And then that's coming towards the other side. So left arm reaches out. Right hand presses in by the shoulder. Maybe even that elbow tucks in. Gaze goes towards the right. And start to press in, rolling onto that left side. And controlling your depth, moving that hand as you need to find that sweet spot in on the shoulder. Maybe walk that hand up. Maybe it comes in towards the body. Your top leg, your right leg, you could really do whatever you want with. I like the little challenge of balance on the mind. But if that doesn't serve you, you don't have to go for it. I'll connect in, holding this pose for just a few rounds of breath, starting to settle and soften. See if with each exhale, can you let go of any tension? Are you clenching your teeth? Can you feel that tension through the front body, through the collarbone? Can you let it go? I like to bring a little squeeze to my shoulder blades here, especially if your hand is tucked back behind you. It just kind of opens up a little bit more through the heart. So good. Nice big inhale, breathing in. Exhale, nice and slow. One more big round of breath, filling the lungs. And letting it out. And if you have the foot bind, without slingshotting, release. Start to come out of this nice and slow. Maybe you plant that hand in, roll things down onto your front body, and bring the hands alongside the body. Gaze either goes left or right, your choice. Feeling that nice melting in. So good. Beautiful. All right. Let's bring those hands nice and slowly underneath the shoulders. There's no rush in this class at all. I've got my toes tucked under. I'm going to start to press myself up, back through tabletop, right into a closed knee child's pose. So keep those legs closer together. Let's help you release through that low back. inch by inch, settling in, dropping that head down. Arms can be extended long. Or if you want to roll into a tiny little ball, you can bring the hands back behind you, or even reach for the heels. Nice little counter stretch to those back bends. It's nice rounding through the spine. So good. It's totally one of my favorites. Nice. Connecting in, softening. Beautiful. Let's start to bring those hands kind of aligned, just slightly underneath the face. And press yourself up, coming to a seated position on the feet. So coming up as high as you're able to. Maybe have the shoulders right over the feet. And take a nice big inhale breath. Exhale, let it go. Just taking a moment in stillness. Lots of times as we're bowing forward and that our head is below the heart. And so if you're noticing some sparkliness or some dizziness, you can take a little sip of water or just let the body recalibrate. So good. Let's come on forward, releasing those feet. Maybe you give them a little tap into the mat. And if the shoelace side of your feet was down, let's switch it up. Tuck the toes under, or whatever the opposite is of whatever you did. Maybe you already had your toes tucked. Just a quick little stretch in through the feet. Can't ignore them. They do so much for us. Feet are super neat. They're really complicated, but they're very fascinating. Beautiful. One more nice deep breath. And let's start to walk those hands forward, coming back into that nice tabletop position. Adjusting maybe the knees hip distance apart. Hands stacking underneath those shoulders. So good. Let's bring that left hand just slightly more towards the middle, kind of in front of the face. And the right hand, let's get ready. Let's open it up. So reaching it up, nice and tall. Palms facing outward. Exhale. And just thread the hand through this nice little hole between the knee here. We're not coming down on it. We're just kind of reaching through. And let's reach it back up. So we'll take 3 of these, but we're going nice and slow. So reaching that right hand up. Trying to stack shoulder over shoulders. Lots of times I see this arm start to kind of, the shoulder float up by the ear. So if you can find that openness, pressing into that standing hand, that would be great. All right, nice and slow. Let's bring that right hand, reaching it through, maybe dropping that hand down or shoulder down. Bringing a bend to that left elbow. And start to bring that hand all the way back up. This is a little prep for thread the needle, but I actually don't love thread the needle at all. I find it very hard on necks, shoulders, especially for beginners. Reach it up, find one more leg for the last one. Reach it on through this nice little hole. Maybe you just plant the top of the hand down. Maybe you come down onto that forearm, maybe all the way down onto the shoulder. You can use your left hand as a little pillow. No expectation to come down though. This is the part that can be really hard on people's necks. So you're welcome to stay up nice and tall. Just getting that nice stretch through the shoulder. Excellent. Let's reach it up one more time. just to release. And drop that hand back down. Take a little sway from side to side. Pushing the hips out one direction and then the next. Beautiful. Come back to that stillness. Send the head nice and long. Bring that right hand in just a little bit. Fingers nice and wide. And the left hand starts now to reach up. Find that openness. Hand goes up, pressing into that right hand. So much lift, so nice and tall. And nice and slowly bring that hand down. And start to bring that hand through this nice little hole. Starting out nice and high. Maybe just press the top of the hand in. You take a little moment, you add a little resistance into that hand. Might feel good on the shoulder. Really pressing those fingers. See if you can reach them a little bit more. And let's start to bring that hand back up. Reaching up. Really reaching here. Feel that a little bit through the side body. You can always adjust the knees however you need to. Making sure those shoulders aren't pressing up by the ears. And let's exhale, bring that hand down. Bring that hand through. If you want to add a little bit more depth, then bend. And just kind of come down onto forearm. Got a bend through my elbow happening. And just coming a little lower. Still reaching lots with those left fingertips. Excellent. Let's press on into those hands. Come on up. Reach up. Finding that length. Trying to stack those shoulders. Then exhale. Reach on through. So if you're feeling like you want a little bit more than this up high version, the full version of the thread the needle is getting your head down, hips up in the air, kind of like that nice puppy pose. I like adding a little pillow for my head. Reaching that hand through, maybe coming all the way down onto that left shoulder. Or anywhere from here all the way back up, doesn't matter. Excellent, let's press on in. Start to come back up. Reach it all the way up. And exhale, plant that left hand. Take your nice little sway from side to side. So good. And then let's make our way onto our backs. Rolling back and down. Feeling that spine pressing into the floor. Knees are bent, feet planted close-ish to the sits bones. Just somewhere comfortable and neutral. Roll those shoulders back and down. Create all of that openness through the front of the body. Have the palms facing up. So good. Let's keep working with shoulders and arms. The theme of today's class. So I'm going to bring my left hand, palm facing down. And then I'm going to walk my hand underneath my back, kind of planting on my low back, so rolling onto my right hip a little bit, creating that little bit of space. And it's hanging out right on the small of my back. Rolling back down that left hip. Noticing how does that feel on that left shoulder. If you're not noticing any sensation at all through that left arm, that left shoulder, then underneath your body, try to wiggle those hands along the spine, coming up a little bit higher. That'll add more intensity. Just go up a few millimeters, find your stillness and try to soften, because it gets intense pretty quickly. So hanging out here, really good. Of course, we can't just do one shoulder at a time. If you want to just simply hang out here, you're more than welcome to. It might take a lot of focus and concentration to stay soft through that left shoulder. But I'd love to find some openness through the right shoulder. So right hand still facing up. Start to reach it up overhead, reaching nice and tall, and then bring a bend to that elbow, maybe even making a little pillow for your head or reaching it behind the neck. Trying to keep the entirety of that right arm planted down. So this is like our reclined cow face arms, where we'd reach our hands behind our back and maybe interlace at the fingertips or grab in at the bra straps or at the shirt. And because I think it would be fun to add in the legs as well, why not do the whole body? You can do a little cobbler pose, heel toeing the feet together and letting the knees fall open. So keeping that chin nice and tucked, sending long through the crown of the head, and finding softness, letting everything melt. We've got a lot going on in this pose. A little bit of spine alignment, lots of shoulders, hips, legs. And connect in with the breath. Can you start to notice the movement of breath happening throughout the body? Maybe you're inhaling and exhaling through the nose, really slowing it down, breathing nice and full, engaging into that abdomen, breathing with the diaphragm. As the body starts to settle, you might notice the pose getting easier. Maybe the muscles were just simply a little bit stuck. They were waiting for this relaxation to find their openness. Or the flip side of that, the other option, is the pose becomes a lot more intense. You're starting to get into that pull of the muscles. You're starting to really lengthen. If it becomes too intense, take a little moment and ease off. Don't let your ego get in the way. There's no should. Your hand should not be a certain distance up your back or down your spine. There's no expectation of depth, at least not for me. But maybe check in with yourself. What are you expecting to have happen here? Maybe it's the legs. Maybe you're expecting your knees to be completely open, touching down to the ground. And can you start to release that expectation? It's okay if they're hovering up a bit. And take a nice big inhale. Nice full exhale. Take one more of those big breaths in. Nice breath out. And we'll start by releasing the legs. So starting to bring the knees back up towards center. Planting the feet, hip distance apart. Reach that right arm, that top arm, reach it up nice and tall. And find that length, journey it down alongside the body. And then start to very slowly, this is the one we've got to move slow with, rolling on to that right side. So you can release that left hand and like inch by inch, just start to wiggle it out from underneath the back. And rotate palm facing up. And then roll back down onto your spine completely. Take a little moment, notice the difference between left and right side. Feel that little sensation. And as you release that stretch, start to wiggle through the fingers. And before we get into the other side, let's reach those arms up overhead. Make that nice, good morning stretch. Just help reset that left shoulder. Reach it up nice and tall. And exhale. Bring the arms back alongside the body. All right, here we go. Other side. Roll the shoulders back and down. Make sure you've got all of that openness. And start to roll ever so slightly on the left hip. Left palm faces down. And start to slide that hand right into that small of the back, right where that arch would hang out. And just starting there. Roll back. Planting the sits bones or the hips, the pelvis back in. And simply notice the shoulder. Can you start to soften here? If you're not feeling any sensation at all, if you're at like a hard 0, then you can wiggle that hand up the spine, little bit by little bit. So move your hand up a little bit and then settle back into it until you find just that little bit of sensation. As we're holding here, it'll probably intensify as we go on. All right, left hand, palm facing up. Reach that hand overhead. Bring it bend to that elbow. Maybe you tuck the hand underneath the head, making that nice little pillow. Just creating a little openness through the left side. You have the option to go back into cobbler, but if you want a little internal rotation, bring the feet a little bit wider and let the knees fall inward. The knees do not have to come to touch. Just a little bit of gravity pulling the legs in towards each other. You can find the depth you would like, or how far apart you bring the legs or the feet. And start to settle in. Start to notice the breath. Notice where there's tension. And you can start to let go of any of that tension. Letting it feel restful and letting it feel good. And connecting that breath into the diaphragm. Breathing nice and full, maybe even nice and slow. If the mind starts to wander, just let the thoughts be like little clouds. You just see them floating on by, but you're not interacting with them. You're not flying up there to see what's going on. Just, oh, there's a thought. Okay, there's my breath. Big inhale, big exhale. And taking a few more rounds of breath, take a moment to notice, do you need to adjust at all? Do you need to push that ego aside and soften and come out of it ever so slightly? Or do you need to embrace the challenge, like trying to go a little deeper? Are you fearful of more? And breathing in nice and full, take a big inhale. Exhale, nice and soft, let it out. And connecting in, nice big breath. And letting it out. Starting to slowly come out of this. And starting with the legs and the feet. Maybe just heel toe them back towards neutral. Or if you're in that collar, bring the knees back up. And release that left hand from underneath the head or from behind the neck. Reach it up nice and tall. Bring it alongside the body on that exhale. And start to slowly roll onto that left side. Nice and slowly release that right hand. Bringing it alongside the body. Rolling onto that spine. Just taking a little moment here. Noticing that tingle, that little sensation. Not rushing it. And then reach the arms up overhead. Take that nice, big, good morning stretch. Reach it up nice and tall. Exhale, hug the knees in towards the chest. Make that little rock from side to side. So good. Beautiful. You're more than welcome to play around with a little freestyle. There's another pose or movement your body is craving to finish off class with. You're welcome to take that. With this being a nice and slow yin-ish style class, not very flowy, we had little bitty shavasana in between all of our transitions between poses. We took little breaks. And so I'm going to count that as our final shavasana. We just broke it up a whole bunch. If you are all of a sudden outraged by that whole idea, it's your class and you are probably in your living room. So you're welcome to take some time to enjoy some stillness in that traditional pose if you want, or whatever pose you find yourself in. I do encourage you to take maybe 3 or 4 more nice big breaths, reflecting on your intention of class, and perhaps setting an intention for the rest of your day or evening. And then we'll roll up to seated to say goodbye. I thank you so much for joining me for a nice, gentle Friday. I hope you had a great class. I hope your arms and shoulders feel great. Same with your spine. It's great. Oh, so good. I love all of those. That was wonderful. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. And as always, I hope you find joy in every moment, and I pray that you are always blessed. Namaste. Have a beautiful day.